All right. Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Wednesday, October 14th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The owners of an Albuquerque-based smoke shop have been indicted by a federal grand jury after selling millions of dollars in untaxed cigarettes over the internet. Paul Rainbird and June Ortez, both San Ildefonso Pueblo members, were indicted on 59 counts of conspiracy, mail fraud and possession, sale and transport of contraband cigarettes. The indictment charges Rainbird and Ortez with buying cigarettes wholesale without paying taxes under the guise that the cigarettes would be sold or used on Indian lands from 2003 until last year's raid at the Albuquerque shop. Defense attorney Sarah Sanchez says no crime was committed and calls the case an open and transparent effort to build a lawful tribal business. The indictment places the gross wholesale value of the cigarettes at $26.2 million and taxes avoided by the scheme at $7.5 million. Wisconsin's only para-mutual dog racing track may close for good after this season. Dairyland Greyhound Park in Kenosha, Wisconsin, told employees in a recent letter that a decision on the track's future will be made by November 16th. Dairyland Executive Vice President Roy Berger says both attendance and betting have dropped off and the track lost $3.4 million last year alone. Berger says attendance is down 19% so far this year compared to a year ago, and betting is down 29%. He said the track has lost money for the past 4 years and in 2008 was financially the worst year in track history. Berger says the only way he can see to turn the track around would be to sell it to the Menominee Nation, who wants to build a $1 billion casino there. A tribe says plans to build a commercial wind farm in western Ohio pose a threat to an ancient burial and mound, and the state should put a barrier around it to keep it from being disturbed. The Pequot Shawnee tribe asked that the mound be protected in a motion it filed with the Ohio Power Siting Board regarding EverPower Windholding Inc.'s proposal to build a 70-turbine farm near Urbana. Gene Park, an elder of the Alabama-based Shawnees and an agent for the tribe in Ohio, said there are 6 mounds in the Urbana area that were constructed thousands of years ago by the Shawnees' ancestors. One of the mounds is on the site proposed for the wind farm, Park said. He said he identified it based on a book published in 1914 by the Ohio State Archaeological and Historical Society. I went up and checked it out, and it was on the exact site as indicated, Park said. It's a humongous mound and it's covered with trees. Park said there are no markers designating the mound as an Indian burial site, and some people believe it is simply a glacial deposit. However, he said the tribe is convinced it is a burial mound, and people who live nearby tell him that artifacts have been discovered there over the past 30 years. Students at Brown University were protesting a decision to strip Columbus Day from the school's calendar because of the explorers' reputed violence against Native Americans. Student Republicans and other protesters gathered on the Ivy League campus October 12th to object to the university's decision to rename the holiday Fall Weekend. The protest was organized by WPRO AM talk show host John DePietro, who says between 75 and 100 people attended. Keith Delagrota, a Brown senior who leads the school's College Republicans Club, described the decision as political correctness gone too far. He said Columbus should be celebrated for bringing the European political tradition to the New World, which led to the foundation of the United States. Hundreds of Brown students asked the Providence School to stop observing Columbus Day because of the atrocities committed against the American Indian. State Senator Albert Kukish believes Alaska Natives may be forced to file a class action lawsuit against the federal government. Kukish says the lawsuit might be needed to restore subsistence rights secured under the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. The Angoon Democrat is facing trial over a $500 state subsistence fishing citation. He gave a video statement recently to the Alaska Native Brotherhood and Alaska Native Sisterhood 97th Grand Camp Convention, in which he criticized the state of Alaska for its handling of subsistence rights. A U.S. Department of Defense grant worth $800,000 is going to a Billings corporation focused on developing American Indian businesses. Leonard Smith, executive director of the Native American Development Corporation, says the money will go to help businesses and individuals in Montana, Wyoming, and part of North and South Dakota. Smith says the focus will be on helping clients pursue contracts with the Department of Defense and other federal, state, and local agencies. The Intertribal Bison Cooperative there in Rapid City, South Dakota will receive a $175,000 federal grant to help Native American tribes develop farm market stores. The stores will give local residents improved access to fresh, locally grown foods. The U.S. Agricultural Department says the stores will also provide economic stability to cooperative members and create jobs in Native American communities. The grant is part of a $1.4 million in USDA funding to assist small, socially disadvantaged agricultural producers and cooperatives in rural areas. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you for visiting with us again and again and again. Miigwech.